Hey guys, what is up? My name is Karen, aka Caked by BBK, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing the third installment of the dupe scoop, and I know I haven't been up to date with this lately, which is why there's only been 3, including this video. We are comparing these two palettes, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam Palette, which you guys know that I love, against the e.l.f. New Classics palette, which just came out last week, I believe. I went to the e.l.f. store the day it launched to grab it for you guys so I can get a review and a comparison. But first, let's talk about the details of everything. Soft Glam retails for $42 like all their other palettes from Anastasia, and it comes with 14 shades. So here is what the palette looks like. As you can see, it's a really neutral palette. I absolutely love mine, and I especially love this noir shade, which is why I hit pan on it, as you can see. This one comes with 5 shimmers and 9 mattes, and you can purchase this at Ulta, I believe, but you can definitely purchase this at Sephora and the Anastasia Beverly Hills website. As for the e.l.f. palette, I got mine in store, but I believe it's exclusive to their website and their stores, and I think Ulta. I'm not exactly sure, don't quote me on that. But this one retails for $14 and it comes with 18 shades. As you can see, they're very similar. This one does not have a mirror though, unlike the Soft Glam palette, but it does come in this nice plastic packaging. It's the same one as their Opposites Attract palette, and it's like the same format as well. This one does tend to get dirty. Mine is like really beaten up right now, and this one, the packaging is easier to clean. I like how you can see all the shades, but I do like the luxurious feel of this Soft Glam palette. So there's that. So now that we've gone over the logistics of everything, I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the palettes for you guys so you guys can kind of compare and see. I'm gonna do the Soft Glam swatches first, and then I'm gonna do the e.l.f. swatches second, and then I'm going to take the shades that are similar in my eyes and kind of compare and contrast with those. And I talk with my hands so much, like, I need to stop. Here are the swatches for the Soft Glam palette. Oh, these two are super powdery. You guys can see that's like kind of crumbling. So far, swatching very nicely. They feel very smooth. Ooh. That's definitely not the blackest black. Ooh, that one's pretty. Ooh, those are very pretty. Alright you guys, so these are the swatches for the e.l.f. New Classics palette. Here are the palettes side by side. As you can tell, they have similar tones, but now that I'm looking at both of the palettes, I do see some differences, mainly in the number of shades, and some of them are very different. I'm going to swatch the shades that I feel are similar to the Soft Glam palette, so we're gonna do that right now. Okay, so here are the shades that I found dupes for. The top row is Soft Glam, and then the bottom row is the e.l.f. palette. They are similar, but the only ones that I say are exact dupes would be this shade and these two right here. Other than those shades, I would say the rest don't really have an exact match for the Soft Glam palette. As you can see, this pink shimmer shade is a lot more pigmented and a lot deeper than this pink shade from the e.l.f. palette. These two orange browns right here are varying. They have different hues, and these two are slightly darker. This noir shade, which they both have the same name from both palettes, they're both called Noir. This one is a lot richer and a lot more jet black than this one. This one's more of like a sheen. Now we're going to go into applying both the shadows on our eyes. I am just priming my lids with some Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer. This is in the shade Fair. I like to use a lighter one just to make the colors pop out a little bit more, but I've recently been loving this concealer for priming my eyelids. I feel like it gives a very tacky base to start with, so we are just going to apply this. I'm going to blend it in with my Sonia Kashuk beauty sponge. I'm just gonna do a simple look. I don't want to get too crazy just because this is more of like a neutral palette and I don't really want to go too crazy right now. So I'm in the Soft Glam Palette first. I'm gonna go in with Burnt Orange on a fluffy blending brush from BH. I'm just putting this into the crease, doing windshield wiper motions, and then blending it a little bit upwards. I'm gonna take a fluffy blending brush from La Beauté Soie, and then I'm going to dip into the e.l.f. palette, and we're gonna go into the shade Darling right here. These shadows from the e.l.f. palette do feel very soft, but they are very crumbly. I'm dipping into my palette right now, and there's a lot of fallout. I'm just gonna go in on this eye. Ooh, she is pigmented. Hello. That is crazy pigmented. Okay, that is a little bit darker than this side, so I'm gonna go in with Rustic right here, which is like a slightly darker shade than Burnt Orange. I'm just gonna build this up. Okay, that's looking a lot more even. Just gonna blend this out a little bit more. And in the e.l.f. palette, I'm gonna go into Truffle, which is this lighter shade right here. And same with my La Beauté Soie brush. I'm not gonna mix any of the brushes because I wanna keep it to their respective palettes, but I am using the mirror in the Soft Glam palette, so that's why you keep on seeing it. I'm just gonna blend this up and out. I do have to say these e.l.f. shades are very, very pigmented. Just even laying down that first shade was just like, whoa. I'm gonna take Burnt Orange again and try to build this up and blend it out more, just to make it even with the e.l.f. side. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's like a major difference between the coloration. Even when I add Rustic, it's just a lot darker. I'm gonna add a little bit of Muse right here, which is this darker shade, and I feel like that's a dupe for a Cypress Umber in the Soft Glam palette. But we're just gonna buff this in. And she's looking a little dark, so I'm gonna take a clean brush. This is the Sigma Tapered Blending E35, and just blend this out and blend the harsh edges. I'm going back into Darling with that brush. I'm just doing circular motions. Now I'm going into Cypress Umber on the Soft Glam side and just building that up even more. Since we put down that dark shade, that is still looking significantly darker on the Soft Glam side though. Dipping back into Burnt Orange, I'm just going to blend this out a little bit more. I'm gonna zoom you guys in so you guys can see the difference. You can see that this side is a lot more light than this side, and I'm trying to blend this one out a little bit more. And on the Soft Glam side, I'm gonna dip into Noir, which is this black shade. As you guys can see, I've hit pan on this because I use it so much. It is the most pigmented black I've ever used. So I'm just gonna take it on my finger. We're gonna go in just straight on the lid. Just doing like a smoky eye today. I also like to do windshield wiper motions with my finger as well when I'm like smudging a shadow all over the lid. And I'm gonna take that same brush and just blend out the edges. I'm gonna dip more into Cypress Umber and kind of blend that all together. I love how I've only used like one brush on this eye. But we're gonna dip into another because I need to get into that inner corner. So same thing with Cypress Umber on a Morphe E36 and just getting into that inner corner to get that blend. And I'm actually dipping a little bit into Noir and then getting closer to that lash line where my finger can't get. That is a nice smoky eye. And it's a little unblended right here, so I'm just gonna go in and blend that out. Going back into the e.l.f. palette, I'm dipping into their black shade, which is Noir, which that's the same name as the one in the Soft Glam palette, but I see you, e.l.f. And we're just gonna do the same thing. Oh, okay. She's pretty pigmented too. When I swatched it, it didn't seem like it was that black. It's just more of like a gray sheen, but I guess you can just totally build this up because when I put that on my eye, like that was way more pigmented than I was anticipating. Okay, e.l.f., I see you. Dare I say that's even more pigmented than the Anastasia side? I'm gonna zoom you guys in so you can see. Like you can see that's like way more pigmented actually. But I mean, I still have to blend it out, but like initially that looks a lot darker than this side. I'm taking a like angled blending brush from Le Beauty Soir, the same set, and then I'm just going to go over those harsh edges just because I don't want to use my Morphe brush because I used it on the Soft Glam side. And going back into the blending brush, just gonna blend those edges out. Now I'm going into the Soft Glam side again. I'm just gonna deepen it out because this side definitely looks a lot darker than this side. So I'm just gonna go into Cypress Umber again. We're just gonna like drag it outwards a little bit. This side going in with that Sigma brush. Just doing those same motions. I love doing smoky eyes this way because it's so easy. Like you just build up 2 or 3 colors and then you just pop like a black or like a darker shade on the lid. And it's just so easy to do. I will say that this black does look a little bit patchy on the e.l.f. side. I'm just gonna try and fix that a little bit. I don't know, close up it looks fine, but far away I can totally tell a difference from the bottom of my eye, like near the lash line, and the top. It just looks like a lot more pigmented down there and it's not blending out, but that just could be my ability right now and not the palette's fault. But we are gonna go in with the Soft Glam Noir again. I'm just gonna take this on like another fluffy brush from Le Beauty Soir. This one's not angled, so we're just gonna pack this on a little bit more. See if we can build it up to the darkness of the e.l.f. palette. Oh yeah, we definitely can. Okay, she is smoky. Just gonna blend this inner harsh edge out. Going back into rustic and then just blending out that inner corner. Okay, those are some smoky eyes. I do have to say that they look pretty similar. Like I had my doubts in the beginning. The shades were slightly off, but I guess like a mixture of the shades in the e.l.f. palette really caught up to the ones in the Soft Glam palette, if that makes sense. I'm going to set the top of the brow bone with the Tempera shade in the Soft Glam palette just because I really want to use that one because that one was one of the more similar ones out of the swatch comparisons. Okay, so I set the brow bone with that and I feel like that made it pop a little bit more. We are gonna add like a shimmer on top, but I just wanted to use that shade some way. I'm just gonna use the other side of this small detailing brush because I don't have another small brush that can fit into the brow bone. I promise, they're not mixing, I swear. And we're just gonna pop this on this brow bone. So I just realized that my mic wasn't on for like the last 17 minutes of my filming. So if you hear anything that's kind of off with the sound, that's from my original mic, which I mean, it isn't bad. I still have audio, but it's not gonna be as crisp as when I'm using this mic right here. I hate myself. Why am I like this? But anyways, we're just gonna continue because life goes on. As I was saying, the e.l.f. palette's cream shade right here, I would say they're very similar, but it's not as bright as the one from the Soft Glam palette, which is Tempera. They are very similar still. I'm just being super nitpicky. So, I mean, there isn't much of a difference, but I can tell a little bit of a difference. So I'm going to do the rest of my face and I will be right back to do the lower lash line. Okay, so I have the majority of the rest of my face on. I still have to put some highlights and blush and all that stuff, but we are gonna do the lower lash line first. So I'm gonna do the e.l.f. side first. I'm gonna use a City Color CCE07 brush, like a flat shader brush, and I'm just gonna go in with Darling. And then I'm gonna go in with Muse. And then with Noir. Then with the Soft Glam Palette, I'm gonna go in with Burnt Orange and Rustic. Oh, this is also a City Color brush, but this is the CCB 103. You can buy this separately as a single. Then I'm gonna go into Cypress Umber. And then with Noir. So the lower lash lines are done. That was fairly easy. And now I'm gonna pop on the rest of my makeup and then I'll be back to give you guys my final thoughts. So I am back with this full face and honestly, I'm loving it. This turned into more of like a cool toned type of look, and I usually don't do cool tones because I'm a warm toned kind of gal, but I'm actually like really here for it. We love a good smoky eye. My final thoughts about these two and whether or not this one is actually a dupe for Soft Glam is that yes, the tones are very, very similar, but when it comes down to it, I would have to say no, it's not a dupe, just because only 3 of the shades were exact dupes for shades in this Soft Glam palette, and the rest, it's just overall tones. You know what I mean? Like, the tones are very, very similar. Yes, it does have a similar color scheme and like shimmer matte patterns, but when it comes to using them and swatching them, I don't think it's similar enough for it to be a dupe. But I mean, if you use this e.l.f. palette instead of the Soft Glam, like, nobody's gonna notice the difference. You know, you just have to work with this a little bit more to get the exact coloring of this one, which is what I had to do on my eyes. I mean, you can't really tell the difference right now, but I did have to mix a lot of the shades more for it to look similar. So if you're looking to save a little bit of money on the Soft Glam palette, I would just say to get this one, even though it's not a dupe per se, it is similar enough and you can work it for it to be a dupe, if you know what I'm saying, you know. You also get additional shades in here that I have not touched yet, but I am dying to. Like, these shimmer shades on the bottom look really amazing, especially this rose gold shade, which is more of like an orange shade than a rose gold, but whatever, we're not gonna get into that. All right, you guys, so that is it for this tutorial. Let me know if you are going to be purchasing the new Classics palette from e.l.f. and whether or not you think it is a dupe. Personally, I don't think it is, but I still would recommend you checking out this palette because it is amazing. I know I didn't use too many of the shades from this palette. I only used about like 5 or 6, but let me know in the comments down below if you want me to do a dedicated video using this palette. I can do like a 2 looks, 1 palette type of video, and I can go more in depth with that tutorial because this one wasn't that much like a tutorial, more of like a review and comparing these two. So let me know in the comments down below if you're interested in that. I would totally love to do that for you guys. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, all that good, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.